Yogurt 2 ways or 3 ways? However many ways it takes for everyone in the world to be able to make yogurt?
Exactly.
Okay.
Teach you how to put your yogurt under your horse's saddle so that it stays warm enough to ferment if you ride a horse around instead of living in a house with an oven. Hello! Welcome to our kitchen. So you want to make yogurt and you have watched some videos and read some articles, but you feel scared. Well, I don't blame you, because a lot of those articles and videos don't tell you what to do when things go wrong or if you don't have just the right equipment. So here's my easy yogurt tutorial that's going to cover all your bases, all of them. So what do you need?
You have to pause, Lauren, for the intro.
Intro right here. All right, so what do you need? You need a pot and a stove. If you don't have that, a microwave safe container and a microwave will do fine. If you don't have that, just buy some pasteurized milk and hope for the best. You'll be fine. I'm serious.
That seems a little risky, Lauren.
Nope, it's just about texture of the yogurt and it would still turn out just fine if we didn't heat up the milk.
All right.
So the other thing that you need is some milk. I have whole vitamin D enriched milk here. You can use pretty much any kind of milk.
Non-dairy milk?
If you use non-dairy milk or lactose-free milk, and the milk that you are using does not have a lot of natural sugars, in fact, maybe it's artificially sweetened, then you may have to add a spoonful of sugar so that the yogurt bacteria have something to feed on and turn into lactic acid, which is what makes yogurt sour. So you can use plant-based milk. If you do, you may want to use a plant-based yogurt as your starter or a commercial starter. We'll cover that in a second. What else do you need? A commercial yogurt starter. Wrong, you don't. You just need a spoonful of plain yogurt.
Is this yogurt we got from the store, Lauren?
No,
look, it's Simple Truth organic yogurt.
Originally, this is what we started our yogurt with. We're basically
we've
stealing
started
their
a bunch of different yogurts,
but this one is our own original yogurt.
We just
so any plain
made it in
yogurt,
that thing.
and you really only need about a tablespoon of it. So if you're right at the end of your
What's
thing,
in there? Let me see.
If it's all the milky stuff that's kind of loose, that's fine. That'll start your yogurt. Then you need a thermometer. Wrong. If you don't have a thermometer, I'll show you how to make yogurt anyways. And finally, you need a commercial yogurt starter. Also wrong. If you don't have one of these, I'll show you how to do it in your oven and suggest some other ways that you can make some yogurt happen. Step one. First, we're going to heat up our milk. Now, this again is an optional step. You can also do it in the microwave. If you don't heat up your milk, you should at least bring it up to kind of room temperature, maybe a little warmer, so that your yogurt starter doesn't get shocked with cold. But if you do decide to heat it up, it can make your yogurt a little thicker and creamier.
Yum.
Super yum, April.
Yeah.
April likes thick yogurt.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pour into a measuring cup because that just gets an extra thing dirty. So I'm going to use the container that I'm going to make my yogurt in.
You know how much that jar is anyway.
It's a quart, but then also I know how much yogurt it will make. And then I know that I need the same for my commercial yogurt maker. I'm going to show you both methods.
Yogurt 2 ways or 3 ways? However many ways it takes for everyone in the world to be able to make yogurt?
Exactly.
Okay.
Teach you how to put your yogurt under your horse's saddle so that it stays warm enough to ferment if you ride a horse around instead of living in a house with an oven. I don't know. I'm trying to help.
Yeah, for all of you out there who are nomadic horse riding travelers.
Honestly, I'm guessing
that
if any of our watchers are nomadic horse riding travelers, they know how to make yogurt
already
better than us.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so what are you doing here, Lauren?
All right, so I'm heating this up on medium-high heat. I might give it a stir every once in a while. a skin is going to build up, and that's okay. And April, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it to 180 degrees. Now, I just told you, you don't need a thermometer.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
Touch it to see how hot it is?
That would burn you, maybe.
Would it burn you at 180 degrees?
I don't know. Basically, all you need is
so.
it to be steaming.
Okay.
Now, April, what if you accidentally boil your milk? Do you have to throw it out?
Oh, I can tell
over?
you, we've done that.
We've done
bunch
that
of times before.
And you know what?
It's still okay.
It's still okay.
Just
it will make yogurt.
You just have to let it cool a bit before you do your starter part, right?
Yes.
You don't want it to be boiling while you do the next step.
We heat it up and then we bring the temp back down. So if you're really uncertain and you're saying, well, it's steaming, but is it really hot enough? Just let it come to a little mild boil or simmer, and then you'll be very sure. That's like a simmer is about 190, 195, something like that. So then you for sure hit 180.
You know, if it starts to make the noise and you see little movement, then you know you're definitely hot enough.
Yep. So we'll come, right, so fast forward to the future.
Great. We'll see you then.
All right, future Lauren here. You can see that this milk is steaming and it's bubbling just here or there. That's just what we want. And if we look here, it's 180, 190. So is that too high? It's just fine. If it was boiling at a full rolling boil, it would be just fine. As long as you don't scorch it and have burnt, scorched,
gross
smelling milk, you're okay. So step 2. Oh, the other thing I mentioned, you know how I said put this on medium high? Well, what if you have to go do the laundry and can't watch the stove? You could just put it on low and then walk away for like 40 minutes. That's what I did because I had to do some stuff. So that's okay too. But anyways, I've pulled the skin off. April, do you want to eat the skin? A little salt.
I think I know someone who would like to have the skin.
Hey, Agnes, do you want some milk? Is that tasty?
Okay, bye, Agnes.
All right, so now we're gonna take our milk off the heat. If we mixed our yogurt starter into this right away, we would kill it because it's too hot. So we need to let it come down to between 100 and 120 degrees. If it's a little cooler, say 75 degrees, that will still work, but you don't want it too much warmer. If you don't have a thermometer, you can feel it, and it will be like a warm bath is about what you're aiming for. Maybe just a little cooler than that if you're worried that you are insensitive to heat the way I am. If you're someone who pulls things out of boiling water with your fingers because you forgot to grab a fork,
it's terrible, Lauren.
Then maybe don't trust your fingers on this one. But we're gonna let this and we'll come back for step 3. So step 2, pull it off the heat. Easy peasy. Fast forward to the future. All right, step 3. So our milk is cooled down. It's probably about 90 degrees. Yeah, 97. So that's perfect. You want it ideally between 100 and 120. It feels like a warm bath. Like I said, it should feel very comfortable.
Hope you washed your hands,
Almost
Lauren.
Body temperature. I did wash my hands. And now we need to mix in our yogurt starter. So for a quart of milk, you need about a tablespoon of starter. If you have a little too much or a little extra, that's fine. I have 2 quarts of milk. That's probably honestly closer to a quarter cup, but a lot of it's just liquidy. So, but again, it's pretty flexible. So you notice I still have the skin in there. It won't hurt anything. In fact, we could leave it there, but I like to take it out because then there's no chunks. Not everyone likes that chunky yogurt.
Especially when the chunks aren't coming from fruit.
We're gonna stir in our starter. If you had a commercial starter packet, followed the directions on the box, I think you just dump it in and stir it in.
Lauren, why would someone use a commercial starter packet?
Maybe you had one, maybe you got given a kit, but you don't need it. Just use a spoonful of plain yogurt. It's got all those good bacteria already in it.
Great. What if someone gets bacteria-free yogurt?
Well, you might still get yogurt because of the bacteria floating around in the air, but it would be a little more chancy. Yeah. So this is the thing with yogurt. You can get a lot of things wrong and still have it work as long as those bacteria stay alive. So if you ferment it at a slightly lower temperature than you should, or a slightly higher one, as long as it smells like yogurt at the end and gets thick, you're safe. If it smells rotten, then throw it out. But it's very, very forgiving.
That's a good rule to go by with food. If it smells rotten,
throw it out. So I'm not great at pouring things, not the most coordinated, which you can see by the milk on the stove. So I am going to pour into a measuring cup so that it's easier to pour.
Because it has a spout.
A spout. So first, here's our, oh, I'm spilling milk everywhere.
Oh no.
I'll wipe that down before I start fermenting it. So there's...
Cleanliness is key in the kitchen.
So we're going to do this two ways. One with our commercial, I don't know why I say commercial, because it's not like a, but you know, like a store-bought machine.
Yes.
That's designed for it. And the other one we will do in the oven, and we'll talk about some other ways to do it. So another way you could do this is just to put a little tiny spoonful of starter in each of these jars and then just pour the milk on top of it without mixing. That's fine, but I like to mix it all up. All right, so step 4 is to ferment your yogurt. So for a commercial yogurt maker, we just plug it in and turn it on, which it's already on. And then I'm gonna leave it for anywhere from 4 to 24 hours.
Wow, why such a large range, Lauren?
Because it depends on how tangy and sour you like it. The longer you leave it, the more of the milk sugars are going to get eaten up by the bacterias. If you find milk hard to digest, if you're lactose intolerant, then doing a 24-hour yogurt ferment is going to be a lot easier on your stomach than a 4 to 6 hour one. But if you like a really mild yogurt, then that's not too tangy, then a shorter one might be what you want to try.
Great tip, Lauren.
Now, you don't want to shake all this up once you get started, but if after 4 to 6 hours you want to just gently see if it's starting to set, you can do so. So we'll check back on this one when that's done. But now I'm going to show you our other one. Let me just do a little cleanup first.
Great.
So we're all cleaned up. And I put a lid on my jar yogurt. So there's a lot of different ways that you can ferment this. Basically, you're trying to keep it between 100 and 120 degrees for an extended period of time. Now, if you live in a really hot climate on a hot day, you could probably just leave it in a windowsill. Some people put it on top of a warm appliance, sometimes a refrigerator. A really mild vibration is fine. Sometimes on the back of a wood stove, not like on a direct heated source, but on a warm hearth. Sometimes you can pile some oven-warmed bricks in a cooler and cover them with towels and put it in there and close the cooler. And then what a lot of people do is put it in an oven, either a gas oven with just the pilot light running or an electric oven with just the oven light on. And that heat right there is enough to keep it warm. Sometimes you could preheat the oven just to a warm temp. You do not want to go over 125. So if it feels too hot, you know, for your hand, then you're too warm for your yogurt.
Most ovens have a minimum of 170, right?
Yeah.
But some ovens have a warm setting that's lower.
Yes, yes. Especially newer ovens, I've noticed, have sometimes a lower temperature. Now, my oven, I have noticed, is just a little cool for doing my yogurt. It will still work, but it takes a lot longer to get it to set up, and I want this done in 6 hours. So I'm going to use a method that some people do in a cooler or a cardboard box or an oven, where they take a heating pad, like a medical heating pad, and they'll put it in the bottom of a cooler. The cooler just helps trap the heat in, and then they'll just put it on the low setting. Now, heating pads today, for safety, usually have an auto turn off that turns it off in about an hour.
Darn it.
So when I'm using this, I just set my timer, and I do it during the day, and every hour or two I reset it. You don't have to do it as soon as it turns off, because if it's in a cooler or an oven, something kind of insulated, it's going to trap the heat in. So this will just boost my heat and make sure it's done a little sooner.
Putting an electric heating pad in the oven, that seems super safe, Lauren.
So I'm going to do two things for safety here, because I recognize that this is not the most safe. One, I'm going to tell my housemate, April, something's in the oven.
What? What's in there? Oh no, a monster?
An electric heating pad.
Oh, Lauren. Okay.
The other thing, I'm going to put my thing right up here so that I can see it. And third, here's my little trick. I have this sticker that I got for free at the Beaverton Farmers Market.
Shout out.
And I'm going to put it over the start button so that I can't turn it on without seeing that. And that is April and I's signal. Check inside the oven.
Yeah.
We do that
or
sometimes.
leave a written note, but this is nice because it can stick on, and then we'll just keep it over here when we're not using it.
Yeah. I do the same thing for rising bread dough, and it always works.
Yeah, because I'm always over here trying to roast vegetables at 425, and Lauren left dough to rise in the oven.
Covered in plastic wrap.
Baked your bread for you.
Yeah, good times. All right, so I will see you in the future. All right, so I say all right 8, 12 times in this video. Count them. I don't know how many times it is. April will edit them out or edit them in.
No,
so that
I'll add more all rights.
All right. That was one April added.
No, it was not.
I lied.
All right, Lauren.
So, all right.
Oh my goodness.
Step 4. Finish your yogurt. It's been about 6 hours. And, oops, my yogurt is set up. You can tell if I tip it a little. Some liquid moves, but it's mostly staying where it should be. It's quite warm. Feels like a warm bath. Actually, my fingers are really cold, so this one feels like hot, but I think it's just because my fingers are really cold.
Yeah, it's not too hot.
So it will set up.
Sorry, I dropped something.
Did you just get my whole... I probably have a stain on my jeans.
No.
So the little liquid on top is normal. Separation is normal. That's the way. Won't hurt you. Tastes delicious.
What happens with store-bought yogurt too?
You can drain it off if you happen to not like that.
You can pour it off or mix it in.
This is going to get a little thicker if I refrigerate it, but we can taste it now. Warm yogurt's not my favorite. It's just nice and tangy. Here, April. A pretty mild yogurt because it was only 6 hours. I didn't do it overnight.
It still tastes pretty like milky.
Yep. So I'm gonna put these straight into the fridge. Sometimes I put a spoonful of jam or fruit in them ahead of time if I want like a grab and go breakfast. These little jars are great. And then we're gonna check our other one. You'll see that my auto off flipped probably a couple hours ago, but my oven is still nice and warm. And I'll pull this one out. And this one's not quite as set. I could put this in the fridge now, and I'd get a pretty liquidy yogurt. You can see how it's sort of bubbling up, so it is thicker, but it's not pure liquid, but it's looser than the other ones. That's probably just because my oven is still at a lower temperature than this, but it is still turning into yogurt. And I've never checked the temp. It could be 100 degrees in there. It could be 105. It could even be 95. I'd probably still get yogurt if I give it enough time and treat it gently. So I'm going to stick this in for a few more hours, and I might even do a 16-hour batch and just do this one overnight.
Lauren, isn't it nice to compare different methods and see if you like it better different ways?
Absolutely. And we've tried a bunch of different methods. We've tried the cooler method. I know people who do it in a crock pot that has a warm setting instead of just hot or low. And they insulate it with towels so that it doesn't get too warm.
Smart.
You can do like a hot water bath that you refresh every once in a while. There's a lot of different methods. You could do a solar oven. Shout outs to teacher Billy. Solar ovens would work.
Did that with her students.
Well, she made s'mores, but you could make yogurt.
Yes, you could
and then
do
learn
yogurt
about fermentation and lactic acid.
Yeah. Next lesson, Billy.
Yep, absolutely. Shout outs to teachers everywhere. So get in your kitchen, get some yolk, get a spoonful of yogurt, and get your yogurt on. Now, April, we don't always make batch after batch of yogurt.
Yeah. This is a good question, Lauren, because there are lots of people who have been using the same yogurt starter over and over for years. But what happens if you
go on vacation
and then your last bit of yogurt gets moldy, or you accidentally eat it all and it's gone? Oh no.
Well, 1, you can always start fresh with some store-bought yogurt. 2, what I like to do is keep a little jar or even just a spoonful in the freezer. Which keeps it good, but the bacteria still stay alive even though they're frozen. You bring it back up to room temperature, and then you're good to start a new batch of yogurt. So that's my emergency starter.
Label it as yogurt starter. Even if you, like, sometimes with these, we'll just label one jar at the beginning starter so that it doesn't get eaten. Especially when you have a lot of people in your household, helps them to know. Fierce language there.
All right, so let us know if you make yogurt in your kitchen. You can do the same thing with sourdough starter. Pop it in the freezer, use it again in 3 months. Maybe you're done with your COVID baking phase. Right, April? I looked at you for that because COVID baking phase.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that, but you did.
Yeah, I did. And my sourdough's safely in the freezer for next time I get bored.
Down there.
All right. Did I say all the things I need to say?
I think so.
Like, comment, subscribe. I really want to know how many of you tried making yogurt.
We were so excited when we heard some people, was it 4 people made sauerkraut?
4 people made sauerkraut.
After our sauerkraut video. So let's beat that. Let's see if 10 people.
10?
That's a lot.
People.
But can we get 10 people to make their own yogurt? Remember, you do not need a yogurt maker or any fancy equipment.
If you live close to us and don't want to go to the store for some yogurt, you can let us know and we'll give you a spoonful of starter.
Yeah. And you can always leave a comment or email us for advice and we'll answer your questions.
What's our email? The Lauren and April Show at gmail.com.
No, it's just Lauren and April at gmail.com.
Lauren and April
at
gmail.com.
Our Instagram is at the Lauren and April Show.
At this point, this video is 15 minutes long, and if you stayed till the end, congratulations. Here's our outro.
Is something supposed to be there?
That's when you switch to the music and the
okay.
credits. Roll credits.